The divisional round is set, football fans. We are here. Last week I had a great week, 5-1. Only missing that one game, the Detroit game, by 2 points. Had the Rams scored 2 more points, I would have had a perfect week. But let's go into the games this week. We have a lot of games to go through. Well, actually only 3, and plus the extra video later where we go break down the Packers versus the 49ers. Let's get into it with our first game of the weekend, Houston versus Baltimore. Houston has a great shot to win this game. Baltimore has not basically played in 3 weeks. They've rested all their starters in week 18, more or less. And you know what we've seen from the Baltimore in the past. They've done this before. Look what happened. They were utterly annihilated by Tennessee the last time this happened to them. Don't rest your guys. I understand the need to rest your guys, especially to avoid injury, but there's also just as much willingness to play to keep people fresh. When you're getting that week off during the wildcard round, why rest your guys for like 3 weeks basically? I mean, of course you're practicing in the week leading up to the divisional round, but really, it's not a good idea to rest your guys ever. When has it ever helped Lamar Jackson? The last time you did that with Lamar Jackson, you failed and you lost. You got utterly defeated by Tennessee. It's going to be a great game. Houston has a great shot to upset, to be honest. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I think Houston has a legitimate shot to win. And how could you say otherwise? Because CJ Stroud has been fantastic. Sure, they're going to Baltimore, so they're not in Energy Stadium or whatever it's called now. So that is definitely something to look forward to. We'll see how they do out in the colds of Baltimore. But Houston has a great shot to win, especially if they can run the ball. If they can run the ball with Devin Singletary like they were able to last week, they should be able to do just fine. And CJ Stroud, as long as CJ Stroud is playing well, this team has a chance to keep advancing. And Baltimore, yes, they have a great defense. Roquan Smith is the leader of the defense, and he's great. Kyle Hamilton should be ready to play. Marlon Humphrey should be playing. And it's going to be a great matchup. But it all comes down to Lamar Jackson. Can he play well in the playoffs? We've seen him a couple times in the playoffs, and we've seen him kind of fail. Can he shake off the rust after not playing for 3 weeks and be ready to play in this game? I think he can. It's just a matter of when we'll see it. If he can play, the Baltimore has a great chance to win and move on to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 2012, I believe. Yeah, since 2012. And it's going to be a great game. I think I'll go with Houston. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go with Houston with the win, 27-24, but it's going to be a very close match nonetheless. I don't think it's going to be, well, if Baltimore does win, it'll be close regardless, maybe coming down to a Justin Tucker field goal, but I think Houston has a great chance. As long as CJ Stroud is not throwing interceptions and he's playing well, it's hard to look down on their chances. It really is. Houston wins 27-24. And in our second game of the week, we have Tampa Bay versus Detroit. Tampa Bay with a big win over Philadelphia, beating a team that was absolutely defeated from start to finish. The Eagles had no chance to win that game. It felt like they had really no will to win that game. They were utterly defeated. And man, the Eagles really sucking up a lot of questions going forward. But Tampa Bay is still not the greatest team in the world, but they've been playing hard. They've been playing well. Their defense still is sneaky good at times. Rachaad White is one of the most underrated running backs in the league. And Baker Mayfield, give him credit. He's had a good year. He's really had a good year, and he's been a big reason for why this team has been doing so well. He's just been efficient. He's been accurate. He hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions. He's just been good. And when a quarterback is playing good, they have all the chances to win. Now, it is going to be a much different game. Like I said last week, the Eagles defense was completely defeated from the very get-go, and the team as a whole. So they are going against a Detroit sneaky good defense, although their secondary, if their secondary doesn't play well, they could be torn up by Baker Mayfield in this game. Now, Detroit still has a great offense, of course. Samuel Porter was able to play last week, and that was a huge game changer. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, two great 1-2 punching attack there. Amon-Ra St. Brown is fantastic. He's great. James Williams still has a catch every now and then, and it makes it look spectacular. But I'm wondering when he'll become that true number 2 wide receiver and really be mano a mano with Amon-Ra St. Brown, because it seems like Amon-Ra St. Brown is clear favorite for Jared Goff. I mean, Jared Goff last week had a great week. He barely had any incompletions at all, was just very efficient, and was able to bomb it down the field at will at times. That could happen this week. Tampa Bay's secondary is susceptible to teams that can do that, so that should definitely be something to look out for. I think I'll go with Detroit in the end. I don't want to pick against Detroit. I mean, I think Tampa Bay has a good chance to win. It's just I feel like destiny is being written. I feel like the NFL script writers are writing for a Detroit Green Bay championship game in Detroit a week from now. I really believe that. I think the NFL is setting that up. I think it could very well happen, but I think Detroit wins. I think they win a little more than maybe Baltimore or Houston would. I think Detroit wins 35-28, something like that. I think Tampa Bay maybe fails at the end, but I think Detroit just has a little bit more. I think their offense is a little more efficient, a little more consistent. And although their secondary is kind of a patchwork at times, they are able to rush the quarterback. And if Aiden Hutchinson can interfere with Baker Mayfield's timing, give them all the credit in the world, and then Detroit should win this game. But Detroit wins. Let's go on to our final game of the week with Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo finally has a chance to host a game in this series. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, Part 3. Can the Bills muster up enough to win and finally advance to the AFC Championship game without having to play the Chiefs? It would be nice to see. And KC is not a great team, to be honest. Yes, their defense has been good, and without their defense, they would not have won last week. But leave it to the NFL. They got their script writers writing, and I'm sure they're going to try like hell to make sure Patrick Mahomes is back in the AFC Championship game in a year where everybody said no, especially with Taylor Swift out there. We know that I really believe the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift is fake as hell, and that it's just used to drive up ratings, get more people watching the NFL, and that by season's end they will have broken up. Now, maybe I'll be wrong in that, but I really don't buy the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing. I think it's all a ruse. It's just meant to get people to watch, to be honest. But it's been working. Kansas City drew apparently record ratings last week, so we are going to be subjected to this horrible super wild card weekend game on Peacock where you have to buy to watch it, or you can be a smart person and pirate it because the NFL is basically promoting piracy in this instant. But to the game, Josh Allen has been great. He was great last week. He's been great the last 6 weeks. He didn't have any interceptions last week or any turnovers for that matter. That was a big reason for why they won. And Josh Allen was great. He had a big 52-yard rushing touchdown. He had 3 passing touchdowns over 200 yards. And he was just great once again. Now it's going to be a little tougher, of course. It'll be cold again. But we've seen that cold and the snow hasn't really affected Josh Allen at all. Their defense, yes, is kind of stingy at times and also is broken down a little bit. Man, if only Matt Milano was here, Trey White, man, just imagine how good this defense could be. I mean, this defense has been pretty good despite giving up oodles of yards at times. And KC's defense, like I said, has been great. They've been sacking the quarterback like nobody's business. They've been great in coverage, which Jarius Sneed should be in the Pro Bowl. For the fact that he's not is ridiculous. It shows how stupid and overwrought the Pro Bowl is. Now, it's just a popularity contest. Pacheco is running like a madman, like he always does. He just looks like a young deer. He's just rumbling, stumbling his way for touchdowns and bowling through the line. He just looks great at times. Now it will be a very close game in this instant. Buffalo, they can run, they should go a long way. And again, another one of the key factors, like always, is if Josh Allen can keep the turnovers down. If he can go flawless again without any turnovers, I don't see any reason why Buffalo doesn't win this game, for real. I think that's the only thing that usually keeps them back is the inopportune turnovers at the wrong time that seems to really doom the Bills. And if they can cut down on that again, I see no reason why they should win again. Mahomes hasn't been great the past couple of weeks. Yeah, he's had a few touchdowns here and there, but let's be honest, he hasn't been good this year for the most part. He really hasn't. And anybody that says otherwise needs to look at his stat sheet and show that he has a lot of interceptions. And yes, some of them may not be all his fault, but he has not been the most accurate quarterback this year. So I think it'll come down again, like it always does, to who wins the turnover battle. I think Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo can finally do it. I think they can finally beat Kansas City and move on to the AFC Championship game. Yes, they were there before, but they had to play KC in KC. So I think there's a real shot it's going to be Buffalo and Houston in the end, even though I'm sure the NFL scriptwriters would want anything but that. I know the NFL scriptwriters really want Baltimore and Kansas City, but I think Buffalo bucks the trend and ends up hosting a playoff game next week in Buffalo for the AFC Championship, for the AFC crown to go, and the right to go to the Super Bowl. Let me know what you think in the comments below of what will happen in each game. Although I should probably say the final score. Final score: Buffalo wins 24-21. Relatively low scoring game. Maybe it probably comes down to the end. But I think Buffalo has the horses. They have just enough to get there, even though their defense is banged up. I think with the Bills Mafia on their side in the cold, they should do just fine. They should win. But let me know, like I said, what you think in the comments below. Have a great day. God bless, and go Pack Go.